Hey, what's going on YouTube? Bryce with Hunting Deep Outdoors. Hey, today, first video back on the channel in about 8 months. So super excited to get back into making some videos. Made a cross-country move with the family, switched jobs, finally just now getting settled in the new house. But today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look, kind of compare and review the original Ultraview slider with the new Ultraview UV Slider 2. Full disclosure for this video, I did purchase the UV Slider 2, the original UV slider. I was lucky enough that my new CEO with the new job, he's a big bow hunter. He couldn't figure that sight out, and so he just gave it to me. I did some bow work for him, built him some arrows, tuned up his bow a little bit, and he just gave it to me to use. So yeah, that's what today's video is going to be about. Hang around. We're going to jump into the sights. Okay, so getting into these sights. UV Slider, UV Slider 2. One thing with these sights, they are a premium product. UV Slider, when it originally came out, MSRP was rated $600. The UV Slider 2, MSRP is rated $500. I was able to use a discount code on Podium Archer site and got it for $450. But when you get this, it does look like you're getting a premium product just from the packaging. So the UV Slider packaging, it just has this magnetic flap that kind of folds down. With this one, you open it, got your sight tapes, set those to the side, and then you get a carrying case. So what's cool about this sight, actually with both of them, in the carrying case, as you can see, the scope, windage dial, all of that comes right off of the bracket so that you can transfer this for storage. If you take it off your bow, you need to go somewhere for a hunt. It also comes with spare hardware and an instruction manual. This is just some basic screws and some Allen keys that you'll need to mess with the screws on the sight. Now, the UV Slider 2, only thing different in the packaging is, I'll get this off, you've got a sleeve that goes over it, not important. But then the packaging is the exact same. You just have this magnetic little flap that opens up. You've got your sight tapes. And then you've also got your carrying case. Now, this one, I do already have it out of the packaging, set up, ready to go. But you get the same thing. This comes off. It mounts right here within the case. You've got the spare hardware, and then it just came with a piece of foam to protect in here, just so you don't cut yourself on any of the pin adjustments. But yeah, that's what comes with this sight. Let's go ahead. We're going to take them both out, talk over some features, talk over some differences, and see what we think about them. Now that we've got these out of the box, let's go ahead. We're going to talk these over. I'm going to go over actually taking the bracket off of the scope. So all I'm going to do is slide this scope. So you can see it's all the way up right now. I'm going to slide it all the way down. On the bottom, you're going to see this little spring-loaded clip. All you're going to do is press down on that clip and continue to roll this off. And then it just disconnects. To put it back on, this locking lever here, we just lift up on that. We take the bracket, slide it down on, and then once you have it started, all you can do is kind of push down on that and roll the knob at the same time. You'll hear it click, and now it's mounted and good to go. And then you just lock this lever back down. All right, now let's talk over the mounting options. You can see the UV Slider 1 that I've got. It's got the Picatinny mount. So the Slider 1, it came with the Picatinny mount, the bridge lock mount, and then it also came with a dovetail mount, I believe. One thing they've added for the UV Slider 2 is going to be your just standard direct mount to the side of the bow. So any bow really that exists that has those side mounting holes for a sight, you can put this on, which is awesome. My Elite I currently shoot has those side mount holes. It's got two places you can mount it, and then it also has the holes to mount a quiver. Now that we've covered that, let's talk over the weight real quick, because that's one of the big differences. So, I mean, I know you can tell just by looking at them side by side that the UV Slider 2 is definitely smaller and more compact, but I've got a scale here. It's just your basic kitchen scale. I use to weigh my chicken and rice. Let's get it on. All right. So it's set to ounces right now. Let's clear it. Okay. UV slider 1. All right, they claim 12.5 ounces. I'm getting 12.75. And then the UV slider 2, they claim 9.2, 9.3, and I have 9.3 exactly. So not a massive difference there, you know, a few ounces, but when you start getting attachments on your bow, I'm sure a lot of you know that a few ounces definitely adds up. All right, let's move into the sight tapes now. So on both of these, what's awesome is that you can run 2 sight tapes. So this one, you can see I've got a sight tape here on the front side, and that's going to be what I would use to hunt with. And then on the back side here, you do have another indicator and a sight tape back here that you could take one of those sticky sight tapes that come with it and stick it on there. So you have a hunting setup and a target arrow setup, whatever you'd want to do. If you have 2 different weight hunting arrows, you could do that as well. UV slider 2 has the exact same thing. So I've got this one here that I can stick the stick-on yardage tape on, and then on the back side, a difference is that instead of a stick-on sight-in tape, the UV slider 2 has a metal engraved sight-on tape or sight-in tape. So it comes already pre-installed. I use this to sight in whatever my main side is going to be, and then once again, I'd probably do a target arrow they use for a Total Archery Challenge or something on the back here. So that's really the only main difference between the sight-in tapes is going to be that the UV slider 2 does come with an engraved sight-in tape already pre-installed. Another main difference that you're going to see side by side is going to be the actual wheel that you use for your yardage adjustments, how big they are. And now you can see side by side the difference. So turn them like this. The UV slider 2 is definitely, there's not as much material on here. On the UV slider 1, you can see it's pretty thick material. Now it's nice to grab, very smooth to adjust, but the UV slider 2 definitely has it beat in size. Being more compact, it's just definitely not as bulky, which I'm a big fan of. You can also see the difference in the distance between the wheel and the sight housing. There's not a gap there on the UV slider 2. Versus on the UV slider 1, you can see there's that wheel that's in there. It's definitely, there's a gap there. So definitely more narrow on the slider 2. And then the scope housings. So when it comes to the scopes on these, looking at them, you can see the slider 1 is definitely a lot larger. And a big reason that it's a lot larger is going to be the built-in light that comes with it. So on the slider 1, there was a lot of complaint regarding the brightness of the pins. So in here, I have a 3-pin cartridge, so 3 horizontal pins, and then 1 bonus vertical pin on the bottom. And you can see, you can't really see that. I'll turn the light on and turn up the brightness. You should be able to see those. Turn it back down, turn it off. So yeah, that's this cartridge. Comes with the light. The UV slider 2 does not come with a light. You can buy one. It's about, I think it's $100, but it just mounts in here. It's a whole light kit that you can get that fits on here. The thing that remains the same between these 2 sights, and that's awesome about Ultraview, is the interchangeability that you can do with the actual scope, I would say cartridges that you can put in here. So on the UV slider 2, I've got a vertical 3-pin. If I wanted to, I could loosen up this Allen screw here, take that scope out, loosen up this one on the UV slider 1, take my horizontal 3-pin out, and I could interchange those. Hey, real quick, just wanted to clarify something. I misspoke a little bit. So swapping out the cartridges between the 2 sights, you can't swap cartridges between the slider 1 and the slider 2. What you have to do is you have the ability still to change cartridges, but you have to stick with the cartridges from that specific generation of sight. So slider 1 cartridges stay with the slider 1. Slider 2 cartridges are interchangeable with just the slider 2. Just wanted to clarify that. Switching those up is awesome. It's a cool feature. If I didn't want to run the vertical one day, I can just put the horizontal in there, and I love that about these sights. That's a cool feature. They also make some accessories that you can put on here, different colors just to accessorize it and make it your own. Another feature about these is when it actually comes to the fibers for the pins. So I believe, and now I don't know exactly, I believe that the fibers are running the whole way around the scope housing here. And I'm not sure why they're so dim, but even out in sunlight, they are way more dim than any sight I've ever used. Now on the slider 2, they have, just like a lot of sights, they've got it running around the front, and I don't know, it just feels like a hard plastic that's protecting it for the fibers. But it is noticeably brighter, especially, it might not be on the video, but out in the sun, very noticeable when it comes to the brightness of the pins in the slider 2 versus the original slider. Another thing, going back to the sight tapes real quick. So these do have 3 pin indicators. So once you get this sighted in, you'll have your 20, 30, and 40. And as you slide this, those pins will correspond with the yardage. And these pin indicators are also adjustable. So you can adjust them exactly to the yardage that you need them at. I would say that the top and the bottom ones are adjustable. Same thing with, now these are all close together. I haven't sighted in yet, but on the UV slider 2, you've got the 3 pins. Loosen these up, and you can adjust those indicators up and down. And the middle one, if you have any questions, the middle one is orangish reddish. That is a fixed indicator. That one will not move, because a huge benefit to these sights, like I said, you can interchange the scopes and the cartridges. So if I sighted this one in and I wanted to put my 3-pin horizontal in, if I were to do that, my middle pin on the 3-pin horizontal would still be sighted in once I switched it over to the UV slider 2. So that's a really cool feature if I needed to swap scopes or cartridges for some reason really fast. I think one of the last things that I'll mention here is going to be the return to home, or the slide stop. So on the UV slider 1, as you can see, as I adjust this, that top pin, I'll hold it up, see if it gets close to the camera. This top indicator, I don't think it's going to focus, but this top indicator, you're going to see it goes above where 20 is at. And that's because there is no return to home stop. So wherever your 20 is at when you get this sighted in, you just have to dial this all the way up to it and stop right on it. Now with the slider 2, what they did that I really like, and that most sites have, is they have a return to home, or a return to 20 stop, kind of, I don't know what it is. It's just a little piece of plastic, it looks like, that's held in by an Allen key, but it's adjustable. So wherever I get my 20 sighted in at, if I need to get back there really quick, I can adjust this, and if you watch my hand, it just stops rolling. You can probably hear it click. So yeah, the actual scope, as it adjusts up on the drive, hits this, and it stops the scope from continuing up. And this is adjustable, so huge benefit having that. The windage on these, comparing the two, and I'll let you listen. So I'm going to adjust the windage on the slider 1. So all it is you pull out on this, push it in to lock it, pull out on it to adjust it. And now it's very smooth to adjust the windage back and forth, but there's no audible clicks at all. I mean, if you listen closely, they're very quiet. And then, so that was loud there for a second, then stopped. So lock that back in. But on the slider 2, a lot more tactile. You can feel when it's out. You hear and feel when it locks in. And when you're adjusting that, the windage, I don't know if you can hear that. I'm going to hold it up to the mic real quick. But you can actually hear how many clicks you're moving that sight. So I do like that. Now, I can't give you my opinions on whether I like this sight more than my current one. But I will say, size-wise, one of the things that really, I don't know, just maybe not want to go to the slider 1 originally when these sights came out is just how big and bulky it is. It's heavy. It's a long scope housing. It's really wide. And to me, I'm just, I'm not a big fan of that. When I saw the slider 2, it is basically a mirror of my current sight. So it's more compact, width-wise. Same mounting solution. I do shoot a hunting arrow and a target arrow, so I don't have to swap sight tapes like I do on my current sight. I can just have one on the front here, one on the back. The only thing I'm kind of concerned about with this sight that I would say is the fixed 3-pin vertical, not being able to adjust the second and third pin is kind of worrisome, because wherever your arrows hit with those pins, that's what you're stuck at. You can't really, you sight in your 20, and then the next two, could be 35 or 33, and the one below that could be 51, 46, whatever it is. With my current sight, actually, let me see if I can bring it into focus here. My current sight is the Montana Black Gold Dual Track. So you might not be able to see it, but it is a 2-pin vertical. And what I like about this one is you sight in your 20, and then the second pin, I can sight that in for whatever I want. I can loosen up an Allen key on the bottom, and basically just as I move it back and forth, that second pin moves up or down. So if I wanted my second vertical pin to be 30, it could be 30. I could make it 35, 40, 40, whatever I wanted to make that second pin. And that's one thing that drove me to use this sight for so long. And once I get the UV Slider 2 on here and test it out, who knows? I may be sending the Slider 2 back and sticking with this. Not 100% sure yet. And that's going to do it for this video. The comparison between the UV Slider 1 and the UV Slider 2. Excited to get the UV Slider 2 on the bow, kind of test it out here in the next few weeks before I really start hitting the woods hard when it hits closer to the rut. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate it if you could subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want to do to kind of support the channel. I'm going to try and get some more videos out. I do have one video. It's really short, of the doe that I took this year. It was a quick kill shot of it. Went out and hunted with my cousin for a few hours and was lucky enough to put a doe down early season right after the season opened. So once again, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you all in the next video.